Okay, so with the signing of cornerback Rock Yassin, the 49ers have 75 of 90 roster spots filled. And you could see the strategy at play here. We're exactly 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and the 49ers have those 15 spots left. They've got 10 picks right now in the 2024 NFL draft. So they can stand pat and they could pick 10 guys and then sign 5 undrafted free agents and call it a day, have that 90-man roster filled out. They can obviously sign a couple more free agents if they run into something in bargain bin free agency and then have a little less space for undrafted free agents. They can trade up in the NFL draft. That's actually something that I talked about in my mock draft that dropped today on The Athletic. Trading up would mean consolidating picks so that they could take a bigger swing up high in the draft, maybe on an offensive lineman, or they could even trade down so they have more picks. There are several different ways to look at this, several different philosophies, but the main point is that the 49ers are setting themselves up to be able to go down whichever path brings them the most value at the time of the draft. And you have to think about draft day as a game. Of course, you're going to have your script of plays and your play ideas. You're going to install stuff before the event happens, but you don't know what you're actually going to call until game day, depending on what other teams are doing, what the defense is doing. So the 49ers have built themselves optionality and numbers here. They can go either of those directions or a combination of those directions based on what happens in 2 weeks. Now, in my mock draft, they talked about the fact they've got a really crowded roster, so they might want to think about the efficiency of their picks, consolidate some, trade up in the draft. You can also look at it philosophically in the opposite direction, though. You can say, well, the draft is a crapshoot, so if the percentages aren't that high of hitting on any individual pick, you'd rather have more picks. So you'd rather have a glut of picks. You like the middle rounds of the draft. You can trade down. You can pick up more guys. You could still fit them on the 90-man roster based on the fact that they have 15 spots right now. And then you could figure it out and cross the bridge of who makes the 53-man roster later, because you don't have to cut down until the end of the offseason. Either of those two philosophies, there's arguments for both of them, right? And right now, you don't want to commit to either one because you don't know which one's going to be the value play. You don't know who's going to potentially offer you a good value trade in the NFL draft right around the time of deadline pressure when that happens, right? You don't know which players might surprisingly become available around the time that you might pick or what one you could trade to. You have to be ready for all contingencies. And that's what we're seeing the 49ers doing right now. They've got 15 spots left. They can go in any direction. They're arming themselves with option power. They have filled holes, raised floors, so they can take a swing at some ceilings during the course of this NFL draft. And I think that is very exciting for the 49ers following their latest addition. Speaking of the draft, my mock draft is out on Athletic. You guys know I don't do many of these. I do think that it's a lot of speculation, but people wanted one, so it's out. So go ahead and check it out. I think those of you who want the 49ers to pick some offensive linemen should be happy with my draft. So subscribe to this video. Go ahead and check out the link in the description. You can subscribe to the mock draft on The Athletic as well.